Happy week after the draft, everyone. It is almost exactly 1 week after round one of the NFL 2023 draft. So today we're going to be talking about kind of just primarily the first round, give some overall thoughts on the rest of the rounds for our favorite teams, pretty much all the teams. And we're going to talk about some basically just some implications for the 2023 season based off just the draft. There's also something else we wanted to talk about. But first, I'm Dan.
I'm Chris.
And here's a video for you. So, Chris, we briefly touched upon this at the beginning of our live stream of the draft, which, by the way, everyone, I'm still editing that. I got it down to an hour from basically 4 hours, and I'm having a mental breakdown, so I took a break. But there was something we touched upon in the beginning of that I think, Chris, you're pretty excited about.
Lamar is back, baby. I cannot wait for the season to start. He signed a 5-year, was a 185 mil guaranteed, 260 up
You're right.
to.
Right on the spot. Did it right on the target.
Man, been following it for so long. I can remember that one off the top of my head. That's hilarious. I'm excited. Ravens knocked it out of the park, in my personal opinion, with the first round. So
yeah, I mean, I think from the beginning, both of us were hopeful that it would happen, but we realistically weren't sure that it would, especially after he made that tweet about a month ago or 2 months ago where he's like, hey, I requested a trade because they weren't meeting my value. So I kind of thought that was it.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. That's what I was thinking as well. I'm excited it's not, but now the pressure's on. They better go out there and perform.
No, yeah, they got OBJ, they got Zay Flowers in the first round. They still got Rashad Bateman. There's rumors of DeAndre Hopkins, but there's also rumors of him going to the Chiefs, which, knock on wood, my desk is made of wood. So yeah, I'm cautiously optimistic for the season. What about you?
Do we want like what I actually think? Like because I've already been thinking about this. I
What are your
think the
thoughts?
Ravens are about a 12 win team is what I'm thinking
Okay.
on the high end, maybe 10 on the low end. And the reason I'm going with that is because they need to build that team chemistry. I do have to be realistic and say that they do have to build a chemistry there. I think they could be a playoff team, but they got to build that chemistry.
On the high end, my optimistic self is like, we can make a deep playoff run. It'd be awesome if we made the Super Bowl. On the realistic end, like you kind of said, this is their first year with Zay Flowers and Rashad Bateman's coming back from injury. He's questionable. They got Nelson Aguilar, which people aren't a huge fan of him. OBJ's been out for a year, so there's going to be some fine tuning. But I agree on the high end, I could see 12 wins. Maybe on more the low end, more of an 8-win team, just personally.
Yeah.
How do you think the rest of the AFC North is going to be with this? Because I personally feel like, even though they'll probably have a winning season, I feel like Pittsburgh. Actually, I take that back. I think Cleveland will be in last place.
Man, I hope Cleveland's the worst team. I do think Pittsburgh's going to do really good because they drafted really well this year.
I agree.
I think Joey Porter's going to be amazing there. I cannot believe they got him. I think the Bengals are going to be the biggest problem still.
I agree. I am also really shocked that Joey Porter did not go in the first round. He was the first pick of the second round. So take that with what you will. But yeah, I agree. The Bengals are still going to be the team to beat in the AFC North. I think Joe Burrow still, I don't see him regressing. I know they got rid of Hayden Hurst. He's in Carolina now. And Joe Mixon is probably on his way out. I don't know, all in all, if they're going to necessarily make the AFC Championship again, or even win the division, but I can see them making the playoffs.
Absolutely. They're one of the better teams in the NFL, I would say. Would you say top 5? I'd say top 5.
Currently, yeah. I think like the Ravens are probably like at that 6, 7, 8 range in the top 10.
Yeah.
But
no, that's about what I would expect as well. Top 10 teams. I really do think that Pittsburgh would be a dark horse team this year.
Well, regardless, I think they're going to have a winning season again because that's just going to happen under Tomlin.
Oh yeah, he coaches well, and they're well coached team. It's kind of why I like the whole AFC North. It's kind of why I'm a Ravens fan, is because watching the Pittsburgh games, there's a well coached team that plays hard nosed football.
Yeah, I haven't seen any videos. Obviously, I'm not a member of that organization, but I've heard that Tomlin is really hard on his players if they're not up to snuff. Yeah, no, I think Kenny Pickett's gonna make some improvements in year two. They got rid of Trubisky, didn't they?
I don't know that.
What about the backup that played that got hit in the head by Miles Garrett?
Oh, Rudolph?
Yeah, is he still there?
No, I don't think he is anymore.
Interesting. Okay. I know he played at least, if not last season, the season before that. But anyway, yeah, and Cleveland, I don't even honestly know what their draft was like, just personally, because they spent so much capital on Deshaun Watson. I do really see it could be either Bengals and or Bengals, Ravens, or Ravens, Bengals, Pittsburgh, Cleveland.
So what I think is going to happen is Baltimore, Cleveland, or Cincinnati, Pittsburgh. But I kind of think the whole AFC North could make playoff pushes, though.
Why do you think Cleveland's going to be doing better than I'm thinking?
I think Deshaun Watson's a good quarterback, unfortunately, and I think he's going to have a bounce back year. I don't want that to happen at all. At all.
I feel like a lot of
But
people, even Browns fans, aren't happy about him.
yeah, but I think he's going to have a bounce back year and probably he could probably make a push for an MVP if he plays to the potential he used to play.
We'll see. Around like end of October, we'll see. Obviously, the first few weeks you're kind of dusting off the cobwebs. You know, your first time playing with a lot of people, and first time for people who haven't played. You know, aside from practice in like whatever 6 months. So back to Lamar. Yeah, I'm kind of wondering what eventually like led him to this. I think the OBJ signing helped. I also think Jalen Hurts getting the contract that he did helped because it showed that, well, first of all, Jalen Hurts didn't, he did have an agent. He had a whole team working with him, but also he didn't get fully guaranteed. I feel like Lamar realized that that was just going to be really unrealistic. He wasn't going to get 250 guaranteed, which I feel like the guaranteed money might have just been what really was holding up things. So I feel like he might have took a step back and thought, okay, I need to do what's best for me, but also I'm still getting a decent amount of money.
No, I absolutely agree with you. I really think that the Jalen Hurts contract helped out a lot. I'm also wondering what those other contract offers were by the Ravens.
I want to know if anyone actually made him a bid in secret, like maybe the Falcons or the Colts, because I think it's interesting. It dropped right before the draft, like that day, like 4 hours before. And so we're like, well, I guess the Colts aren't getting them, and well, I guess the Patriots aren't getting them.
I was so happy.
Yeah, I mean, and I think the team he was when Harbaugh said 200% he's going to be the quarterback next year. I kind of thought that he was just being nice for the sake of being nice because he's in front of the camera. But
Yeah, no, that's what I was thinking as well. He was just saying it just to be like, yeah, we want him. Yeah.
and I think too, just the whole like them getting OBJ and drafting Zay Flowers. I don't know how much of an impact he had in that, and getting the new offensive coordinator. I think that kind of showed him they were committed to him.
I think Lamar started noticing that they were appreciating him more. So when he started noticing that, I think he saw the Jalen Hurts signing and then was like, yeah, I think I'm ready to come back, and probably got on the next plane to Baltimore.
And I read too, because he didn't have an agent, he got to keep it all for himself, but also he was using his mom, so he gave her like whatever 3%. It was 7 million. I'm like, okay, that's nice. That's awesome. Now switching over to the Commanders to talk about them for a second. Got Emmanuel Forbes in the first round. I know we got a center. We got a couple other players, and we'll talk more about Baltimore's draft here too.
Hmm?
But I am not so sure that this is going to be the year for Washington. I think that there's going to be improvements. I think this is really going to be a test year for Sam Howell.
I absolutely agree with that. I think that Sam Howell's going to have to go in there and show why he was drafted. Did he play last year? Any a little bit, right?
He played the last regular game of the season and he beat the heck out of Dallas.
My man. That's right. He did, didn't he? He showed potential in that game. So I think it just really depends on who your guys' week one opponent is. I would like to see that. The scheduling. I know they haven't come out with them yet.
I mean, we know who the opponents are, but I don't know, the schedule.
Hopefully it's Dallas. What if he his first game last season gets to beat Dallas? First game this season beats Dallas.
Well, I do remember that the 2020 season, the first game they played was against Philly, and so was the last game. So
So maybe.
A lot of times the NFL will schedule games purposely like that. Like, they'll put division rivals against each other the last week for the drama, for the playoff implications, things like that.
Yeah, schedule makers are really good at what they do.
It's pretty common, I think, for Dallas and Washington to play on Thanksgiving, I think. I don't know how the whole like Detroit and Dallas are the ones who always play on Thanksgiving. Is there a third team that I'm forgetting that always plays?
Green Bay plays a lot, I think, as well.
I know is it the Bears?
The Bears as well, yeah. I think the
Bears.
AFC, I mean, the NFC North in general plays pretty much. Let me start over. I'm pretty sure the NFC North plays a lot of times on like Christmas, Thanksgiving, New Year's.
It'll be interesting to see what happens, but overall, I mean, Dallas, they had an okay draft. I'm not going to lie. I'm surprised they didn't go with Dalton Kincaid or Michael Mayer
Yeah,
in their
I'm really
first pick
shocked. Yeah, I agree
because
with you.
that was the flashy, or excuse me, those would have been like a flashy pick.
Mhm.
Surprised Joey Porter Jr. because he went so low that they didn't pick him up. I don't know if necessarily would have been a scheme fit, but he kind of was the flashy pick. Like I said, and we know Jerry likes his flashiness. I'm still laughing though because remember they were all in the boardroom and they're all just like shaking hands, like that episode of Rick and Morty or so where it's all the Jerrys.
Jerry.
Man, Philly had a really good draft. I'm not a Philly fan,
Yes.
but I concede they had a really good draft.
Pennsylvania did a great job drafting in general. Pittsburgh and Philadelphia.
You know that meme of like the AI presidents voices, like just talking about stuff?
Yes.
I saw one where I guess it was pretty recent, like it came out like a week or two or a month ago or something like that, but it was like the NFL teams. And basically they were saying that Pittsburgh is just a lesser version of Philadelphia. And I'm like, that's a burn. They also said the same thing about the Jets and the Giants, where the Jets are just a lesser version of the Giants.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Some of those are really funny. I'm just going to leave it at that, trying to keep politics out of here. But yeah, I think Philly really did do a great job with their draft this year. I would not be surprised if they made another deep playoff push, even if they made the Super Bowl again. But can we get a bird bowl? Ravens and
Purple.
Eagles, bird bowl.
Purple.
Going to another bird team that I thought did a really good job drafting at least in the first round, Seattle. They got Devin Witherspoon with what pick number 5. Everyone thought they were going to go Jalen Carter. Then at pick whatever 18, 19, they got Jackson Smith and Jigba. So number 1 wide receiver overall, and I could see them. I don't know. I'm wondering about San Francisco. If San Francisco is going to regress this season.
It's tough.
There were a lot of rumors that Trey Lance was going to be traded by the draft.
I think they would, but isn't he coming off an injury? Or yeah,
Yeah,
he's
ankle,
injured.
ankle, and Brock Purdy. I don't know if Brock Purdy's going to be able to play game 1.
I know they picked up Sam Darnold, and they also got another quarterback. I just can't remember who it is off the top of my head right now. It's no one like big and flashy,
Nothing
but I
special.
think it's
Okay.
going to be their first and second quarterbacks because Sam Darnold's probably going to start next year until the injured quarterbacks get to come back. But who do you think is going to start over Trey Lance or Brock
Probably Brock
Purdy?
Purdy. He's proven himself more.
It's true, but do they have to let Trey Lance start because he's a third overall pick?
I personally think the preseason is where they're going to test him out, and whoever does better in the preseason is going to be the starter.
Well, they're both injured, so I don't think they're going to be able to play.
Oh, if that's the case, then week 1 starter Sam Darnold, but I feel like they may, depending on how the season's going, like if they're doing really bad, they'll start probably Brock Purdy first, I think. But if they're doing really good, like say they're like 6-0 or something like that, or 5-1, they'll probably put in Trey Lance just to test him out.
I could see that. What if they alternate it? One game you're going against Trey Lance, one game you're going against Brock Purdy.
I mean, like I said, Brock Purdy is a more of a prudent commodity. Trey Lance only got to play like 1 game, maybe a game and a half before he tore his ankle.
Yeah,
And
that's
I think
true.
he might have lost that game. I don't know. But are there any other teams that you want to mention?
No, I think those are mainly the main ones that did pretty good and had substantial drafts.
Okay.
The Colts got Anthony Richardson. I mean, that's one big thing. Will Levis fell to the Tennessee Titans. Those are kind of some big
Oh,
stuff that
yeah.
happened during the draft.
Man, we were joking that, Will Levis got all dressed up and his girlfriend got all dressed up and they were just sitting there all night.
I don't know. He seemed like he was just getting disgusted the entire time while he was there, kind of seems like. And I was just like,
Oh, he
that's
was
not
always on
good.
his phone every time they cut to him. So it's like he was probably just yelling at his agent. That or, probably swiping at Tinder because his girlfriend's probably going to break up for him for not being a first round pick. Can you imagine?
Oh no, but going in the second round is not bad either. If he fully expected, if he was told that he was going in the first by his agent and stuff, that's on the agent, in my opinion, to believe that hype.
A lot of people mocked him going actually number 2 to the Texans.
Wow, did not see those.
No. Yeah, no, I think Will Levis was just too much of a risk compared to Anthony. I mean, obviously Anthony Richardson's still a risk too, but I feel like my biggest comparison that I can personally see between Will Levis and another quarterback is Baker Mayfield, where he's got that cocky attitude about him. Kind of he likes showing off, but is he really that special?
I've heard
Where
that actually from a couple people, I think.
well, yeah, and like he apparently is not really good at making decisions in the pocket, so who knows?
Yeah, and if you have two project players and one of them is an athletic freak like Anthony Richardson, the potential there is so much more worth it than going after Will Levis.
I think too, humility will go a long way because Anthony Richardson, I think it was him. It might have been Will Anderson who got picked at number 3, which I want to come back to that. But Anthony Richardson seemed like pretty humble. Like, I'm just happy to be here. I appreciate the opportunity you give me, and I'm gonna try my best not to let you down. That's kind of the vibe I got from him.
Yeah.
But going back to the Texans, I know Will Anderson said that, but man, I'm gonna put up this live reaction because we did not expect that. Like, we expected some trades, but Texans, they gave up their first round next year. They gave up their second or third this year, and maybe a second or third next year. But they got number 3 as well as number 2 after drafting CJ Stroud.
Yeah, that was wild to me. I could not believe that they traded up. Because I think we jokingly were like, are they going to get another quarterback?
That would have been a gut punch, but I'm glad CJ Stroud went there. I feel like he would have been a good pick.
Yeah,
Now, was anyone surprised that Bryce Young went number 1?
I wasn't.
Here's hoping that Bryce Young does well for the Panthers. I have friends who are Panthers fans, and I got nothing against them. I hope they do well.
No, that's fair. I really want the Panthers to do well as well. He goes, meow.
So everyone, we're going to make this a 2-parter. This first part is just kind of our thoughts on the draft, kind of just an informal discussion.
And with that being said, you guys should stick around and watch this second part because it's going to be pretty good. Little spicy.
If you like this video, please let us know. Hit like on that button. Let us know in the comments what you think you liked about it, what we could do better. Hit the subscribe button, tell your friends, and yeah, we would love to keep making content for everyone.
And once again, we appreciate every single one of you guys, and we'll catch you in the next one.
Absolutely.
Peace.